How to set boundaries without feeling like an asshole. Woohoo!
Here we are.
Welcome to week 3 of
Do Epic Shit.
I'm Kelly Basinski,
I'm Kim Neal.
and we are here to talk about protecting your time and navigating the highs and lows of entrepreneurship.
Ooh, I like this one. This is going to be a good one. Before we go any further, thank you everybody for downloading, listening,
Woohoo.
following. It's been, we've had some pretty good feedback, huh?
It's been great. Of course, there's always going to be haters.
You bet.
You know, that's how you know you're on the right track. If you have haters, then you know you're doing something good.
Yep.
But there have been a lot of love too, and so we thank you for the love.
Absolutely.
And appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's
Been
awesome.
positive.
You want to jump right in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go. So, ever feel overwhelmed,
Always.
right?
Stressed out.
Stretched thin,
Absolutely.
or caught in the emotional roller coaster of entrepreneurship?
That's a big one. That is a big one. I think especially if you have children and family, and it's it can be overwhelming and stressed. I spend a lot of hours a day stressed.
Well, and I think even just the starting of something and not knowing if it's going to succeed and where it's going. And you know, they have this saying that when you're in business for yourself, whether it's in sales or just your own business, every day you wake up unemployed.
That is the truth.
Because you have to go out and win the business and earn the business
Sure.
every single day.
And I think if you don't, I know for us, if you don't sustain a certain level of business, that becomes stressful, overwhelming, anxiety.
Well, we're going to talk about that.
Yep.
And how we
Let's do
handle
it.
that, and how we navigate that and deal with it. So we're going to tackle 2 major challenges this week. Mastering the art of saying no,
Stop.
and managing the highs and lows of business life. So we're going to talk about some of the strategies we use for protecting our time, managing our time, what that looks like. I'll give you some tidbits that I've used that work for me. You can share what works for you, Kim. And you do a pretty good job, because not only do you run a successful business, but you also go away. You have a place down in Florida.
do.
You're down there. So I mean, you do a good job of managing that.
Yeah, I think
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. And you know what? I almost feel like that is the reward. Managing, for keeping things together, for doing well, doing the right thing. Then I can take that few days and, hide for a couple. So yeah,
Get a little vitamin D.
absolutely.
Yeah. So we're also going to talk about how to set boundaries without guilt and staying grounded through wins and setbacks.
Yep.
Because for every high, there's an equal low, I think.
Somewhere, whether
They show
it's
up. They show up for
Yep.
sure.
whether it's your personal life or it's business, they show up.
So don't forget to subscribe. We're on Spotify, Amazon.
Apple,
Yeah, we're on Apple now.
Woo!
Woohoo! Finally.
Yes.
Took us a little bit, but we're there.
exciting.
Have you ever
do it.
regretted saying yes to something?
All the time. So I feel like my personal life conflicts with my business. Not conflicts, but so I'm social. You know that. Very social. And I always want to make time for everybody. I will say yes to things that I really maybe shouldn't have. Like, hey, Kim, do you want to go? Just using this, hey, Kim, will you go with me, to the store up north, and then go to my attorney's, and then when really it's no, I have to work. No, I have dinner to cook at home. It's Ash went no,
Right.
but I will say yes because I don't want to disappoint. So what happens is I'm getting up at the ass crack of dawn to go run out to the store with somebody. What I should have just said no. Let me just say this: I'm happy to do so, but really it's not protecting, and it's not.
But I also think that's why so many people choose to work with you, because they know that they can depend on you.
That is true, because I do feel like that too, and they will call.
Yeah.
And again, I'm happy to do so, but it really does. You said it earlier. Do you ever feel stretched so thin? And I do. A lot of the times.
So why do we feel guilty saying no?
I don't know. I think for me, it's who I am. I hate to say no. I'm a yes person.
Well, I think it goes even deeper than that. I think as moms and wives and women in general, and sorry guys, maybe we'll say a few things that'll offend you. Apologize now. Sorry, not really sorry.
That's hard.
But I think that, we're raised from a very young age taught to be obedient and to be a good wife and mother means
Sure.
you're serving and you're taking care of, and you can't say no unless it's something harmful, right? Like don't touch the stove.
Right.
But if your kids want something, if it's not bad for them, them, or your husband needs something, or so I think we carry that over into our business with our clients,
Sure.
right?
For
Like,
sure. Yeah.
so, I've heard this saying, and this is what helps me anyway. So what do you do to learn to say no?
Yeah. What do you do?
For me, I always go back to this saying, it's every time you say yes to something, saying no to something else. And that something
True.
else is usually your goals, your dreams, time with your kids, whatever. Now, last week we talked a lot about how you do have to make sacrifices. Like, don't get me wrong. You can't just say no to everything and then only do the things you want to do, because this business, in order to build it, you're going to have to do stuff. And I also believe, though, that it's learning to manage all those things and deciding which things you're going to have to say no to.
Sure. It's a decision you make every day when you wake up.
Can I share a time hack
You
or
bet.
something that I've used? Not necessarily a time hack, but one of the things that I do, and I've shown this to you before, I think you're going to know what I'm talking about, is I actually print out at the beginning of the year. I've done this for about 6 years now. I have a calendar, and it's this ratty old tattered piece of paper, and it's like wincalendar.com. It has like an Excel version, a Word version, but I print it out in all the boxes, and I can have the whole year in front of me. And I sit there and I lay out the things that are the most important so that I can say no to something that conflicts to one of those most. Now, I don't schedule my whole day. There are people out there that time block every minute of every day, and I think they're obnoxious.
Yeah, me too. I can't.
Like, life doesn't work that way. Life is all about managing. Now, I don't run around putting out fires all day either. Like, I'm not just reacting to things. We have things that we schedule, but I lay out the whole calendar. So the first thing I do, and I have to look at it in a year, like the year format. It can't be like 12 months. So I think there's like 3 or 4 months on a page, and it's either 3 or 4 pieces of paper, and I lay them all right next to each other, and I fill in vacations, Julian's spring break and Christmas break and Thanksgiving break. So times that I'm going to be gone. When we have classes or conventions, like,
Sure.
we have our annual convention in the fall. This year, I think it's November. I put all of those things out, and then I look from there. I go in, I say, okay, my goals, what do my goals say I need to do? So this year, 30 open houses. So which 30 weekends approximately? I make sure that there's enough in there, and I kind of go backwards and backfill. And then I can look at the week and say, okay, what's on my annual planner that's a non-negotiable, and I go backwards. So I'm looking at the whole year
Yeah,
first.
that's a great
so that
idea.
it aligns with it.
Yeah.
And for me, since I started doing that, I have sighed a much bigger breath of relief, because I know, like, hey, I'm not even like a hair appointment or a doctor's appointment. Like, yesterday I went and got my hair done, and you got to get your next appointment. She's like, well, we want to book your next one. I'm like, okay, because it takes like 5 weeks to get in there. I don't know why. Why is it? It's like getting into a doctor, right? Kristen's laughing because we go to the same salon. So
Do you have the same girl?
no, different girl, same salon. But I'm like, hold on, let me pull out my annual calendar, and I literally had to look at it, like what. And I put all Julian's days off on there, like what days he's off school, so that I can be home with him, and then I can schedule around that. And like when clients want something, I'm like, oh, well, I have open house this day, so I can do that day. And I usually try not to do open house both days each weekend. Like, I'm not doing Saturday and Sunday. I leave one day open for clients that are available for showings. And like you said, you're scheduling showings sometimes in the morning before and then after. So that's one of my tools, I guess.
It's actually a great idea. Lay it out, fill it in backwards.
Start with the end in mind, right? Like, look at the big picture and then kind of drill it down from there. And it's been a game changer for me.
I should try that.
I'm going to make you do that next.
I know. That's really on my.
Or Kim,
actually, it's a great idea.
Here it is.
It's a good idea, because then you know, what do I have in June? What do I have in October?
You know what's in there right now in July?
Rock.
Yep, got it all planned in. Like, it's all penciled in. So someone asks me if I'm doing something that, nope, sorry.
Yep.
And it helps for me with my clients too, for your business, because if I know that like there's a listing coming up or something coming up, like I can guide them around it so that I'm managing the right expectations for them. So they're not like, oh, well, we need to go on the market this day. I already know that like I've got this thing coming up in 3 weeks or whatever, because I've planned out my whole year and I'm getting closer to it, that I can tell them, okay, let's get on the market this day, or we're going to get on the market that day, because we know our pre-listing process takes longer than, we don't just throw something in the MLS and list it. Like, we have a process that we plan out. It takes us 7 to 10 days to prep something before it goes live. So we have like, so I'm not going to plan for something to go live while I'm in South Dakota, right?
Great.
And that's come from a lot of mistakes that I've made over the years.
I feel like the more we're in it, the more, as time goes by, you do learn to juggle and manage things a little bit better. and drill down to, setting a schedule. Although yours is really drilled. Your book is huge.
I just like to have something to touch and hold on to. And I'm a techie person, so you would think like, oh, you've got it all in Google. No, I need to look at it, and I like to feel the paper.
I know,
between
your
my
book
fingers.
is humongous.
It's fancy.
It is pretty fancy.
$39.99 on Amazon.
Empty, by the way.
So we talked about scheduling it out, but give me some examples of where you've learned to not be such a people pleaser and how that's helped or killed your business.
You know what? To be honest, I was thinking about this not too long ago. Literally, probably the past year to 2 years. That I'm like, no, not going to happen. I'm going this. I never wanted, which ran me ragged for many years. I wanted to please my clients, get everything done, spend, I have a lot of group of friends, like high school, work, kids, parents, friends, things like that. So I would spend, 5 days hanging with this one, going here, doing this, and then I would be exhausted at the end of the week. Now, about the past year, so I'm like, no, next week I'll see you. Following week I'll see you. Clients, I'm the same way. Here's the days I'm available: Monday, Tuesday, Friday from 4 to 8. The other clients, because I work with several clients in a week, probably at least 4.
Oh, easily. You probably have more than that.
If more than, but
you're probably juggling 10 to 15 clients.
At least.
Active clients. Like you've got a lot of people in your database, but like active people at
least.
One time.
So some, and if I just say, oh yeah, we'll go, they'd have me running from 9 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night.
And Timbuktu to there
from
and back.
Indiana up to, Schaumburg. So I literally, that I do schedule out. I open up my calendar, then I schedule, Monday is going to be client A, Wednesday,
so what does that
client
conversation look like with them? So like, how do you have that conversation? I think there's a lot of people that would like to know how to do it because they're afraid to have the conversation.
They are. And I was too for many years. So if they say, hey, Kim, like clients in general have a tendency just to text me 10 houses, which is great. I'm good with that. And I'll say, before I even respond back to somebody, I open my calendar and I say, hey, okay, I have, my son's baseball game today. I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. Oh, this is client. I have Wednesday at 4 available or Thursday at 2. And I let them choose. Well, now don't get me wrong. Some may say, hey, I can't. I can only do it Friday. Okay, then Friday it is. And I just go from there.
Yeah, I think it's okay to juggle things around and shift. Like if I have someone that's only available a certain time, I'll move them to that time. But then I make sure I block out the other time for me time or for kids time or whatever.
Yeah, it is a juggling act. But you know what? I was thinking about it the other day. I literally went from 2 or 3 in a row. And I got home and I thought, well, I had a great day. I had a productive, good day. So you feel good at the end. Like everything is organized. I checked everything. And I'm still old school too. I literally will write things down on a little piece of paper. I've got 9 things that I have to do today, and I just check them off as I go. So that's super important too.
One of the things that also I've learned over the years is this saying, it's how you can tell people no easier is without them getting angry or upset or feeling like, because how they feel is just important. So I think.
Did I answer your question?
You absolutely did. You did a great job.
You
are
talking.
fabulous.
I'm like, wait a minute. How did I tell him no? Don't give him a choice.
There's just a couple of things running around in my mind, and me, I'm like all over the place. I have to spit them out, right? One of the things is people don't remember what you did. They remember how you made them feel. So it's all about how you say no and what you do. And so one of the things that I was taught early on was don't tell someone no without giving them an option of yes. So like, no, I can't do this, but I can do this or this. Which one is better for you? So you don't just tell people no, you give them other alternatives. Like, I remember we were told, oh, you can't, come in and talk to me during these times. I wouldn't say you can't talk to me these times. I would say, here's the times I'm available if you need me. So I just texted a client earlier, or a new client, and I was like, what day next? Because I'm booked through the weekend, like today through the next couple of days. So I said, well, what day next week can we meet? Because you want your home to go, you want to move in the summer. So if you want to move in the summer, we're probably going to need to get it up the beginning of April. Right. So what day next week would be best for us to meet and talk about the values so I can come look at it. So I'm like planning that out and setting those expectations because people don't always think about that. So setting those out there.
I think that's something you just said. It's expectations. You're setting your expectation. And I think they weren't mistakes. But before it's like, oh, okay, you want to go here? I'm going to run out. You want to go there? I'm going to run out. You want me to come at this time? Okay.
Well, because we're afraid. So I think that's the other thing is too, when you don't have enough business, you'll say yes
Bingo.
to everything because you're so afraid.
Bingo.
So it's learning how to own your value and then also work hard for your business so that you have enough business that you can say no to something that's maybe not safe.
Sure.
Like where we go, we were talking about that earlier too, like where we're going to show properties and is it, vacant houses, abandoned rundown houses in a neighborhood that has rundown abandoned houses, right?
I was in some things just this week.
Yeah, me too.
That I was like, whoa, wow.
Yeah, I mean, your safety has to come first. So I think those are all important things to look at. And when you're saying no, people understand how you made them feel. So it's about how you make them feel when you do it.
A lot of truth to that.
So how to set boundaries without feeling like an asshole. What's one boundary you've set that's made a huge difference? And how do you set boundaries with friends and family who don't respect your work time? Because I think when you're self-employed, this is a big one, guys. Like when you're self-employed or you have your own business, people think, and even before, even when I wasn't in the sales side of it, like when I was in like running offices and stuff, people are like, well, you run the office, you can just you don't have to be there. You can go do whatever you want. Running the office means you still have to run the office. Like it doesn't run itself. You're not selling anything if you're not out showing houses or listing properties. So like a lot of times people think that we're just, we can go anywhere, anytime. And, it's not a real job. So how do you deal with that piece of it?
It's taken me a while.
We both have a lot of years of learning this so that hopefully that our listeners can fast forward through all the shit that we did wrong.
God. Did a lot of things. I did a lot of good things in the beginning.
You did great.
And a lot of things that I was like, ugh.
I won't do that again.
Yeah. What was the question?
When the family and friends don't respect your time because it's not a real job, so you can just run and do whatever.
I had a lot of that, Colleen.
So how did you change their mindset or deal with that? Or did you just tell them, screw you?
No. I think in the beginning, I didn't tell people. Does that make sense? Like, I didn't tell people that I had to work, or I think I just kind of ghosted for a while. I'm stammering for words for once in my life.
It's unusual, okay?
I know. It's because you know what? I was thinking about this the other day, and I was such an incognito person back then, or when I started, that I didn't want to tell anybody for fear of failing.
Wouldn't that make it even worse? Because then they think you're just available 24/7.
Yeah,
So what did you tell them you were doing? Going to the beach?
I think a lot of it was blamed on the kids back then. Like, oh, I have this one, or I'm doing this with this, or a lot of it, I didn't tell a lot of people.
So you know what I'm hearing you say? It's none of their damn business.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing you say.
Actually, I have a family member that comes to mind that I was like,
Go ahead.
Fuck you. I'm not telling you anything.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you anything. And I guess this leads into something else. Everybody was waiting for me to fail. So I kept it very quiet, what I was doing. I would just go and do things, spend money on my business and not tell my husband or anybody because even we talked about this on the very first podcast. They're like, just quit that fucking bullshit. Get the fuck out of there.
Yep.
And I used to be like, but I really want to do it. And I think I could do it. And maybe I can. And maybe I can't. And, I something in me said, just fucking do it.
Do you want to hear my favorite line?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I already have an appointment then. It's none of their damn business what your appointment is. If it's an appointment with your kids, if it's an appointment to get your hair done, if it's an appointment to get your nails done. Yesterday I was getting my hair done. I had a client that wanted to see a property. My hair appointment was at 1:30.
So do you feel guilty?
Not at all. I used to. And so I think that's another lesson for all of us. You got to just get over it. Let go of the freaking guilt. Get over it. It took me a lot of years, but you know what? It's none of their damn business.
I can do that today.
Today we can, yeah.
Today I can do that. I can't say, honestly, that I was that even 3 years ago. And I think you said it earlier too. It comes
You've been
from
hanging around with me a lot. That's
well, that is true. But I also think too, you said something again here that was like, oh, if you have enough business where you're not coming from scarcity,
Yep.
it allows you to be able to pick and choose and do and say, okay, if that person gets mad and goes somewhere else, that's if they can't understand I have an appointment.
Well, and I think there's a difference. I think what you're saying is that there's a difference between like setting proper expectations and giving your clients good customer service and being taken advantage of. And I think as long as you know in your heart you're giving good service and you're providing the service that they need, you don't have to allow yourself to be taken advantage of.
True.
And you can say no.
True.
And so when you have enough business, it's okay to do that. Now, just because you don't have enough business does not mean you should allow yourself to be taken advantage of either, though. Because that's where the highs and lows, and it's kind of a perfect segue into the next topic that we wanted to talk about is like managing the highs and the lows of the business. You said this earlier, you started at the beginning, and I was thinking this too. I was on vacation for the first couple weeks of the year, so then my year started off behind. Now, Granted, I had a bunch of stuff under contract because I worked through the end of last year, so I had that going. But I still, and you said this too, I get that anxiety. Like if I'm not, I didn't put a deal together this week. Like I didn't sell anything this week. Shit, I better get to work. And so, like 2 weeks off vacation, the beginning of the year, it had me feeling guilty. Like it had me. That's the high and low of it all, right? And so, but when I am here, I work. Right. I'm not like, hey, I'm gonna go do. Yeah, I have to get my hairs done. My hairs. I have more than one hair, yes. I have to get my hair done. I have to get my nails done. Like, I have to take care of myself so that I can present myself professionally and be out there. But at the same time, I'm not like every single day, I'm not getting a massage this day. And like, I work when I have to work so that I can enjoy when I have to enjoy.
Me too. Yep.
I know you do, but I see, and I've mentioned this a couple times already, I see a lot of people that think that they're getting into business so that they can have complete freedom and that they want to work 4 hours a week and have a multi-million-dollar business. It don't work like that, honey. So you work when you have to work so that you can say no when you want to say no. Sure. So you can be on the trip or you can be at the things for the kids. And I see you do that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just do stuff and you don't even know what you're doing. So I'm here to tell you what you're doing so that I can celebrate you.
Thank you.
Because you don't celebrate yourself enough.
You know, you were just saying something about you work and you work hard so you can enjoy and you can do those things when you are doing them. You know, like I feel like we do work super, super hard, but when we do go, we do enjoy. I didn't really do a lot of that prior. It was always working, going, and then working.
What's been your biggest high and your biggest low in your business?
Honestly, the biggest high is personal. It's business and personal. It was, client had called me. I went on the listing appointment and I ended up purchasing that home. It was just out of the blue. And it was a great business decision. And that was really the highest.
I like celebrating those investor wins.
I do.
That's a good one for
I know. That it really was. I walked out of there like, that was a good day. That was a good deal.
All right. What about the opposite? Biggest low in your business?
I had a couple.
Come on, tell the story. People want to hear. The haters want to hear.
Well, I'll tell you, I've on my ass a couple times. You know, you're riding high, you're selling, and then I crashed. I left a brokerage that I was super comfortable at. This is just one. I really did when I was leaving, thought, you got this.
I thought you were the shit.
I did think I was the shit.
I knew what you were going to say.
Left that brokerage and fell on my ass the following year. And it was devastating to me. Not that I was starving. I don't want people, I wasn't homeless. Thank goodness I wasn't destitute. But things got really rocky. My marriage at the time, my house wasn't the most smoothest place that you'd want to be. I didn't have the money that I was used to making, and it was time for a change. I had to dig deep inside of me. What's going on? What am I doing? What am I not doing? What can I do better?
Was there a conversation you had with someone, or was there something you read, or something like what caused you? Because you said you had to dig deep, but how did you even know that that's what you needed to do?
My life just wasn't working. This was not working. I was miserable every day. And this has nothing to do with money. It's all an emotional. It's emotional. I just, I would wake up every day in a funk. It's just a funk. I didn't have any accountability to anybody. And I feel like in sales, whatever sales, car sales, whatever sales, you have to be accountable to you because you're in sales. And if you don't have accountability somewhere, you just go off. You're playing in the wild, wild west. So getting back to that, I'd wake up in a funk. I didn't feel good. I was miserable. I was screaming at everybody. I mean, if you said the wrong thing to me, I was going off.
How'd you get back on track?
Yeah. Well, I needed to revamp everything. And meaning it goes back to the circle. I had to find a circle again where it fit.
You say circle, you mean like the people you surround yourself with?
The people I surround, a brokerage that was vibrant, that had good vibes, that was up and coming, I needed something different.
I agree with you. I think that
I was dying.
when we talk about those highs and lows, who you surround yourself with absolutely matters.
You bet.
If you don't have good people around you, so I can have a really bad day and I can pick up the phone, or I can even just look at my text messages from Kristen and Kim, because we have our own little text group, and there's a meme in there and it immediately puts a smile on my face. The people that you surround yourself with, those who feed you the laughter and the joy, and they can help lift you back up.
So it's so important. And that's why, it's kind of disheartening when I see that people don't come in and they don't engage, in the office. It is so disheartening because it's such a good vibe and it makes you push harder, makes you go harder, makes you, hey, Colleen's got 4 deals under contract. Mike has 3. I'm getting 5.
Yeah, it feels good to be around people. Like energy begets other energy.
Absolutely. And I can't even stress how important that is. It's nice to see people coming in. It's nice to be in a group. It does help you.
Yeah, I think that's really important for the highs and lows. I think there were a couple of them. Obviously, opening my own brokerages, when I launched my own brokerages, those were incredible highs. But I think those also were some of my most incredible low moments because, we got into business with some people that we probably shouldn't have gotten into business with. So that goes back to the circle again. So there's a common thread in a theme here, right? Who you get into business with matters. Even if it's not like physical business, it's like ancillary, like just being around those people and who you work with. But we physically got into business with some people who are not nice people, who did not have our back. And in hindsight, I can see that. But at the time, I was wanted it so bad that I probably overlooked some red flags that I should not have. So if you feel those red flags, listen to them.
Or just ask me and Bart.
Yeah. You guys are, I'm like, no, they're okay.
Or even Ubaldo.
There are some people who have said and did some really nasty, horrible stuff to me.
I know.
I can tell you that, they tried to have our bank accounts frozen. They tried to shut our businesses down. I mean, they did successfully shut some down. Yeah. But that's also how I know I can make it. Mm-hmm. Because if you make it through those and you can come back every time, and I think that's what pushes me through the highs and lows of it. Like losing a sale, big deal. I lost a whole freaking company.
You did.
Right? But also, I think it goes back even further. I talked about earlier. I know what it's like to be homeless. Like you said, you didn't lose your house or anything.
Right.
And I didn't, like I said, I wasn't living in a cardboard box.
Right.
But I know that I think we talk about confidence and believing in yourself. I know once you've hit a bottom that you're still going to have the ability to rebuild it again if you've done it before. If you've done it once, you can do it again. That's the thing.
You bet.
If you had to put a deal together, you found a client, you go find another one. It's not the end of the world. And so I think when you put that into perspective and you remind yourself of that, and then you surround yourself with people who can make you laugh to get through to that next conversation, that helps manage those highs and lows. And
I remember that saying. What was that saying that said you could or fall down or take a minute to cry, but then the other 60 or the other 59 minutes you have to get back up, or something like that you used to say. Can't remember.
Something you can cry about it for a minute or 5 minutes.
Take your 5 minutes.
Take your 5 minutes, cry over it, and then put your, I didn't say this, but this time I say it now, put your big girl pants on and get over it and get going.
I mean, there's so much truth to that.
Too many people count on you in this world. Even if you're your own business person and you don't have a husband or a wife or kids or anything, like your family still counts on you to love on you and for you to be there. In today's day and age with so many mental health issues and suicide and everything else, just remember you matter and you can put your big girl pants on and you can get back out there because nothing is the end of life in business.
Yep.
It's just business.
It is just
You're not
business.
dying.
Yep.
It's okay. You can rebuild it. You can go again. You can find another client. Heck, even if you lose your business or your house, you could build another one or get another
agree.
one. It's gonna be okay.
I had a friend way back in the day, and her husband was a builder. And they remember 08, 09, everything crashed. And she had said to me one time, and we're talking back, $500,000 house back then, boats, cars. And she literally said to me, you know what, Kim, if I lost all this, said, as long as I have my family, kids, my husband, I don't care if we live in a cardboard box. This means nothing. And from that point on, I thought, if she could say wow, like that, and that is what matters.
Well, and don't get me wrong, it's nice to have nice stuff. I like nice stuff.
Me too.
I like going on trips. I like seeing tropical islands and palm trees and the ocean. But I also know that, you know what? Things come and go. And who you're around, the people are around you, are what matters the most. Mm-hmm. And as long as I have strength in my body, I will do whatever it takes to keep pushing and keep working.
So let me ask you this, getting a little bit, what makes you, where do you get that from?
Wow, now you're hitting me with the hard questions.
Right? Because you talk about that and you talk about being knocked down, where do you get, and I've watched, it's been a couple times.
Well, I will tell you, I pull on strength from the others around me for sure. Because I know we've had a lot of ups and downs with this whole business thing where we, and there was a period of time where I wasn't eating. I was physically sick because it was so stressful. Yep. And Bart can attest to that. Or we'd get some food and I would take a couple bites of food and I'm like, I can't eat. And he was like, you haven't eaten in 2 days, Colleen. You need to eat. And I wasn't losing weight. That would have been nice. I wasn't eating and I still wasn't losing weight. Lies. I physically couldn't eat. I wasn't sleeping. I was up all night, just worrying and stressed and, about everything. And it was the people around me that I pulled on their strength. And I will say, I also started going to church. That made a difference. Yeah. So if you have God in your life, whatever God you believe in, right? My God, that makes a difference for you. So church was very helpful for me. But I think knowing that you can do it all yourself, but you can't do it all yourself.
I agree.
So, and I know that sounds like, well, you're saying opposite things, Colleen. But knowing that I can continue to work, but I also have to have faith in people around me. I give you Baldo a shout out. He's probably going to be ooh, you talked about me again. And not on the tech side of things. He witnessed a lot of the shit that went down when this was happening. And he encouraged me. And he was like, you're going to be okay. And he was there for me, right? And obviously Bart was. I think of the things that man has been through my side in. And having a good partner in life is important. Yep. I mean, not everybody has one. So I know I'm blessed in that.
Absolutely.
And you know what? We always like to tease that we both got it wrong the first time, but got it right the second time, right? Because we were both married before. I think that makes a difference. But also just having some tenacity and some determination. And I'm the kind of person that you say, well, you tell me I can't do it, I'll show you. I remember one of the first opportunities I got to run a company or a business where someone hired me in. There was a gentleman who had come and he gave a presentation. He talked about what he had built and what he had done. And I said, if he can do it, I can do it too. And so I was like, well, I'm going to do what he did. There you go. Well, right?
That's how I started my business.
People have done it before us. We should be able to, obviously, if you learn the things and you do the things, I think you have to be willing to work. I never shied away from hard work. I'm not afraid to.
Me neither.
And if you fall down and scrape your knees, you get back up. I mean, you learn how to ride a bike, right? Yeah. You didn't get on there and just start doing it. You had to figure it out. You had to fall a few times. Mm-hmm. And I think if you break things down into analogies like that, you're like, okay, well, if I could do this, then I could do that. And if I could do that, then I can do that.
So are you saying there's a lot of self-talk. There's a lot of reassuring yourself.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Because I feel like everything, with the exception of us, there was a lot of, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. If they can do it, I can do it. If they can do it, I can do it. I feel like there was a lot of self-motivation.
Yeah, I think they say you can't motivate someone. This is what I've heard in like a lot of the business and leadership classes, that you can't motivate other people. All you can do is hold up a mirror so they can see the things that motivate them. I think that's part of it. Like, you can shine a light on what's in them, but you can't, and we say this all the time, I can't want it for them more than they want it for themselves. Yeah. But you can also help them see how the path is possible. And I think that's important.
I think that's really important. I can look back and say that probably for me was huge. Just somebody holding that mirror up.
And I think I've been blessed with this ability to chunk things down, to break it down into those pathway pieces. So the people that at least have been around me, I like to try and do that for them.
Yep.
Like, here, let me chunk this down and show you how you can do this too. You can do this. Like, you just do this and you do this and you do this. But when it gets hard, you can't give up. You gotta, we did vision boards. So that's another way. Like, vision boards, I think, are a great tool to manage the highs and lows, because you remember why you started. They talk about like finding your why and finding what's important and remembering why you did this in the first place.
There is so much power in a vision board. I never thought. I used to think they were funny. Remember when we used to do all those little classes and we'd cut out the magazines and stick them out? I mean, literally, we did that for years.
Yep.
I can remember all of my stuff on it when I first came into the business. I had a big one, hung it on my wall. Do you know that 2018, 19, I had achieved every single thing on that vision board? And you'd say, well, why didn't you do that any other time? I just did it for the first time again when we just did them.
That's because you surrounded yourself with people
that
who pushed you to do it. But that goes back to the circle, right?
It is so true.
And as a national company or a big company, they're not like forcing us to do this. So you can be part of a company or a brokerage, but it's that inner circle that you have that means just as much, right?
Very much so.
Or even more so.
Very much so.
Because I've been at other companies that are good companies, and I've been at some companies that are like,
Yeah.
But that inner circle, those people that you surround yourself with. So I think we have a theme throughout today. It's who you surround yourself with matters.
It does matter.
And not just from a, do they make a lot of money perspective, but from a, like, are they willing to give me some of their strength when I need it? And am I willing to do the same for them? Like, when I see someone in my circle that just needs a shoulder to cry on, I'm going to be that shoulder to cry on, but I'm also going to give them the kick in the ass that they need to get back on the horse. Like, you know what? I know that you're capable of more than this, and I'm willing to have that tough conversation with them because I love the people that I'm around that are in my circle.
Yep. And we need that. We all need that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to be smacked upside the head. Not literally, but it's a wake-up call.
Figuratively, sure.
Well, and I think if you're comfortable and close enough with that person to say, hey, what's going on with you? Things you seem off. You're not on track.
You are definitely on this week, just so you know. Like you say when you see her. Last week, you were off.
I was.
But you had a root canal last week, didn't you?
I did. I was jacked up for a while.
But you see how physical things manifest into your business and everything else? Like, you're on it this week. So good energy.
Yeah.
Good energy. Isn't there a song like that? Good energy. Good energy.
I'm telling you. Yeah, it was. Any business owner, anything, we always have highs and lows, always.
I have a couple notes in here that one of the other things is discipline. Like, how disciplined are you?
Here's the thing. People think real estate, make your own schedule, work when you want to work. Anybody who's in this business and really in the business knows that it's the complete opposite. Complete opposite. I work, you work, Kristen. We all work when the norm is off. If you have a job, your corporate world, 9 to 5, I work from 5 to 8 when you get off. On the weekend, when you're off, I work. I just think Saturdays, I literally work since January from 9 in the morning till 6 o'clock, and every weekend, every Saturday, every Sunday. So when I get drunk, got to be a Thursday. Got to go out on a Thursday.
We do go out on a lot of Thursdays.
I know.
That tends to be a day for us.
It is. I like Thursdays.
Yeah, it's still vibing enough out there. Still happening.
Absolutely. Speaking of vibing, you had a good Tuesday.
I did. We had a good lunch with someone, and I got 4 new clients out of it. multiple pieces of business.
And a bunch of drinks.
Yeah.
And a bunch of drinks.
We had fun. We had a good day. But then, I'm busting my butt all weekend long. So it's okay. Like, I can take a Tuesday off because I'm working. I don't have to work 6 days a week, but I do work. See, that's the thing, though. So it's really easy. So I have Mr. Bad Influence in my life, too. He's like, oh, let's go to breakfast. Let's go do this. I'm like, no, I have to go to work. So I think, like, all the way back to the beginning of saying no, like, coming full circle, I just tell people I'm working. I have to work. They're like, but they don't need to know, like, what specifically you're doing. I have to work. I'm going to work.
I can remember back in the day, even when you weren't in the field selling, when you had the offices or even just the one, I remember you saying no a lot. I think you said no more more, you did. I mean, we didn't see you at a lot of functions or a lot of our networking things back then. So
yeah, you have to. You have to make those choices. But that goes back to also what we talked about a few weeks ago, which is, setting your non-negotiables, knowing what's negotiable and what's not. So we talked about that before. I also wrote in my notes about finding joy in the process and not just the results. So I think that's important. I enjoy what I do, even though, like, Kristen and I did an open house this past weekend. Like, we had fun. We're goofing around. Like, we're working, but we are actually enjoying our time together there. We're, like, goofing around. We had conversations.
I love our group.
Right?
I do. I love it. I like to work. I like what we do. I mean, I don't think you could do it if you didn't.
I think I've also learned to not take myself so seriously.
Yeah.
Because I had a tendency to be a real, like, uptight, serious
Very
person.
much so.
Like,
I agree.
Kim's like, yeah, you were. You were, Colleen.
Yep. Wound tight.
Yeah, I was pretty tight.
Yeah.
No, you have to do it this way. And I've learned not to take myself so seriously. Yeah. So I think that helps. And so that's allowed me to find more joy in the journey. The journey is as important, if not more, than the destination.
Yeah. We have a good journey. It's been good. I'm super excited for the future, for the year.
How do you handle the stress that comes with entrepreneurship?
Oh, I drink. No. How I handle it? Well, I really have to take time for myself. And I never used to do that before. It's very important for me to, on a day off, to go have my nails done. Or crazy as this sound, and I know you guys say it to me all the time, I enjoy cleaning my house.
I know. You are so weird. If never, ever have to clean a house as long as I live, I'm totally okay with it.
I don't enjoy. I like to walk in and have a clean house.
I know.
And I like to do it. So if
nobody does it good enough for you. I know that. I've sent you like multiple people. You're like, no, that person sucks.
I've had like 5 cleaning people, and they're just... Yeah, anyways. So if I can take a day off, if I know I don't have anything, I can go on the computer for an hour. I like to clean my house. I like to get a massage. I do at least a month or every other week with a friend of mine. I like to go out.
I have to have planned vacations and not vacation. So I always I can't have nothing planned for the next. And I think maybe I went through a period of time for like 6 years where I didn't go on vacation for a long time. You? Oh, it was terrible. This was before you knew me.
Yeah.
This was before you knew me. I had worked at another brokerage, and I worked there for 3 years as a manager and never took any of my vacation time.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was hard. But also, that was early on where, we had a lot of hospital stays for PJ and my kids because, he was being diagnosed with the spectrum, and there was a lot of things going on then. And so I hadn't learned yet the importance of how I needed that to rejuvenate me in my life. Mm-hmm. And I would rather sacrifice going out and partying. Like, I wouldn't want to go out and drink. I would save that money, not like now, in hindsight, to save up to go on a trip somewhere. And here's a funny story. You want to hear a funny story? So my first ever trip to Nashville, how it happened. Do you want to hear how it happened?
I do.
So I learned the importance of scheduling vacations and having that downtime. And whether didn't mean I had to fly to a tropical island, but I knew that I needed that time to rejuvenate myself. So it was the week between Christmas and New Year's is always really slow in the real estate world per se. So I decided, I went online and I researched, and I was like, I'm going to Florida. I have a car. I can drive, so it'll be less expensive. I found the best hotel prices, found like some really inexpensive hotels. I'm like, I'm going down there. Bart and the kids and everybody, they all said they weren't going. I'm like, well, then I'm going by myself.
That sounds like me.
The kids were teenagers then, and
Yep.
they're like, oh, I don't want to leave my boyfriend, and I don't
Yep.
want to. So I remember Kyle said, good old Kyle, always doing what's right for mama. He's like, I'll go with you. I'm like, okay, great. Kyle and I are going to Florida. The rest of you can stay here. I don't really give a crap.
Oh.
Bart's like, I'm not riding in the car 17 hours. If we can't fly, I'm
course
not
not.
going. Like, I don't care. I want a vacation. I'm going to have the vacation that I can afford, but that's still going to rejuvenate me. And I've learned, so this is like a lesson in how to like manage these highs and lows. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going. I don't care if you guys are coming with me, but I am going. So Kyle gets wickedly sick with the flu, like he's throwing up. And I'm like, okay, I really still want to go. And I wasn't a jerk for leaving a sick kid.
Sure.
He's like 18 years old at the time, 17, 18 or whatever, right? So I wasn't. And my mother-in-law was at the house too, because remember I said she used to come and stay with us from time to time. And I'm like, Mary, I'm still going. Bart's here, Kyle's here. She's like, I got him. I'll take care. I'll make sure he's okay if he's too sick. I'll feed him soup and stuff, whatever. So I'm like, I'm going. 2 hours before I was getting in the car to leave, Bart goes, you can't go by yourself. I'm going. You can't stop me. I'm a grown-ass woman. Like, fine, I'll go with you. But we got to stop somewhere halfway because I can't miss football. So we stopped in Nashville. So I changed the whole thing, the whole plans around. We get to Nashville, and this is like the week before Christmas and New Year's, or the week between Christmas and New Year's. Yeah. We get down there, and so we got a cheap hotel. I don't know, like we ended up at the Hilton. I had points. I don't know how it all ended up, but like it's like the whole universe conspires when you figure out you want to be somewhere. I feel like we're just blessed in that, like that stuff just happens the way it's meant to unfold for us. The whole street, Lower Broadway, is shut down for a street festival. They have bands and music playing and a street fair. The football team was playing at the stadium, so there was like college football and then regular football, so we were able to sit in the bars and watch football and have a good old time. And I'm like, okay, so now we'll leave on Monday to go to Florida. He's like, I want to leave because New Year's was happening a couple days later. So we're like, we ended up staying in Nashville the whole time. We never made it to Florida. We canceled it. Brett Eldridge, who is a country singer, was playing on the stage in the middle of Broadway, like free concert. We celebrated New Year's in the middle of the street, and that was my first ever trip to Nashville. So that's why I love Nashville. Yeah. Like, we had the best time, and it was the most impromptu, inexpensive. Like, you can do things, like it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. Figure out where, and especially now with Airbnb. But that was my first, because nobody wanted to go. And I so again, you say, I just decide. And very, very seldom is anyone going to tell me no once I make my mind up about something. Yeah. I'm like, I'm going. So he packed his bag. Just Bart and I went to Nashville. The kids stayed home. Nobody wanted to go else with us.
How perfect was that?
It was beautiful. It was a wonderful trip. We had the best time.
Me too. That's how I go.
That was my first trip.
I just roll.
So there you go.
Perfect.
Well, so I think vacations are so do you have your next vacation planned?
I do. I am leaving the end of the month.
There you go. See? So having those trips, I think, helps like kind of keep you going and rejuvenate you. For me, at least, that's what helps with my stress.
Think the older we get, you need that. Like, people ask all the time, like, oh my God, you travel alone? I have a home in Florida. Yes, I do. My kids don't come. My husband don't. If a friend wants to come, great.
I tag along. Tag along. All
I mean,
the time.
Everybody's
uninvited. I invite myself. I'm like, Kim, you need someone to come with you?
The more the merrier. But if nobody wants to go, well, you know that.
But I think
I'm out.
So you say we're older, but I'm thinking back to even when I was younger, when my kids were younger, I would find ways to do that with them that didn't cost money. So like even when Bart didn't want to do something, when he used to be in the curmudgeon-y old crab that he is, he was even a curmudgeon-y young crab. Alyssa and PJ and we went on a lot of road trips together, and those were my little mini vacations that didn't cost us anything. Like, we'd go basically to friends that had a cabin or a house or whatever, or my mom lived out of state. We'd travel. I'm like, okay, who wants to go on a road trip with me? We needed that little mini vacation. So you have to take that time to rejuvenate yourself. And look back on it, I feel so blessed that I have those memories with my kids too. And you've done it with Donovan, where just you and Donovan went down and you went fishing. And what's the name of that boat that you guys go on?
What is the boat? I forgot.
It's in Tampa, right?
Yeah, in Tampa. Clearwater.
Big fishing boat, right? So
the Bald Eagle.
The Bald Eagle.
The Bald Eagle, or the Screaming Eagle. Something.
Screaming Eagle, isn't it? I think so. I don't know. But anyway, like all of those things,
Well,
like
like Deanna Beach, Schaefer Lake, those are, I remember all those.
so no matter where you are, you can find something and you
Yeah.
can do it. And I think taking that time is what helps you manage the stress. And it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. Like we pack a cooler with sandwiches and Gatorades
yeah.
and juice boxes or whatever. And Alyssa and PGI and I would get in the car, hop in the car. Kyle wouldn't want to come. Bart wouldn't want to come. We'd like go. We'd take off.
Yeah.
We went to Galena and we went to the lake up
Oh,
there.
yeah.
And we had great memories. But when I look back on it now, I'm so grateful because, I don't have Alyssa anymore.
Right.
But I have incredible memories of times that we had together.
Yeah.
And I know that she had a really good time
Yeah.
with me. So, like, when you look back on it, plan those trips. That's how you get
Yep.
it. Get through the stress of it all. Okay, one last question before we wrap up. Dealing with imposter syndrome. Do you ever have imposter syndrome? Are you familiar with that term?
I am not.
Okay, so I had no idea what this meant, and Kyla had to explain it to me.
Ah.
But then once I'm like, oh, it's kind of like where you're always feeling like the other shoe is going to drop. Like people are going to find out that I'm not really as good at this or as great as like I pretend to be or I feel like, but you really are actually. So how do you deal with like I'm not good enough, the imposter syndrome?
For me, that's internal. That is so internal because I'm going to get a little vulnerable here because, I mean, people really do, love working with you. You're great. You're this, you're that. And really, I go home and I'm like, I'm just Kim. I'm just the mom. I'm just, no, I'm not, And then you always feel like, well, they think I'm great, but I'm really not that great.
So how do you deal with it?
It's hard, actually, kind of, if you think about it. I mean, I don't know, for you, is it a constant battle in your brain, in your head?
I'm going to give you the answer that I gave to like 6 other questions. The circle. Circle around me is what helps me deal with
Explain
that.
more on that,
Because I'm always doubting myself. So I come out here and you guys all look at me and you're like, oh, you're so confident. You got it all together, Colleen. Like, do you know that I failed public speaking class in high school and 3 times in college?
Seriously?
Seriously. They're like, wait a minute, Colleen, you
I
speak
know.
for a living on a daily basis, either one-on-one.
I would have never known that.
You coached people all over the world. You've got up on stage in front of thousands of people. And I failed public speaking. I failed it in high school. And I was like in all honors classes and whatever and super smart. But I had this terrible phobia, like that I'm not good enough to get up there and speak in front of people, right? And then when I took speech class in college, because I went to community college.
Yeah.
I took speech 3 times, and all 3 times I dropped it as a class because I was so terrified to get up and speak.
What was the light bulb?
So it's the people that I've surrounded myself with that have given me confidence to do it. Like I always say, oh, was that okay or whatever? And you guys lift me up. Like you guys literally, Bart, you, Kim, Kristen, like all you guys, I borrow your confidence. I borrow your belief. That's it. I borrow your belief in me and hold on to it till I can get to that next step. And I think we talked about the circle and the tribe that you surround yourself. That matters more than anything.
I agree. Do you think, too, it's the more you grow, the more confident you become, the more successful you become, the more your confidence grows, the knowledge that you...
Well, absolutely. But I think there's also a catch to that, to not become too cocky.
Oh, yeah. Great point.
Right?
Great point. I have... Somebody comes to mind as I'm thinking. Somebody comes to mind where it's like... just full of arrogance, and I just can't even listen. Just isn't.
And you said something too, though, about like the more that you grow, how do you get through that, or where does your confidence come from? I think every time you sign a listing or you sign a client, like, okay, this person believed in me.
True.
So the more people that you serve,
true.
I mean, we've literally sold hundreds of homes over the years, hundreds and hundreds of homes.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's hundreds of check marks of this person believed in me and I did a good job for them. This person believed in me and I did a good job for them. I think builds on that, right?
That is true. I didn't think about it that way. That is true.
So to recap and to add a few closing statements, I would just say ups and downs are normal. You're going to have ups and downs in your business. Who you surround yourself matters. Who you surround yourself with matters.
I love that one.
Sometimes it's none of their, I'm going to add in, recapping. Learn to say no. It's none of their damn business. Like, I have an appointment. It's okay. Believe in yourself, right?
That's huge. If I can give any advice to anybody starting, it's believe in yourself.
So all of those things, I think it's none of their damn business. Be okay with just saying no.
Go fuck yourself.
Look at the big picture and kind of wind it down backward. And I think the reoccurring theme is who's your circle, who's your tribe, who do you surround yourself with? Because you can borrow belief from them when you're having a low moment.
It's a really good one today. Yeah. It's a really good nugget for today.
I tell you what, I wouldn't have had the confidence or the courage to do this podcast if it wasn't for you.
Thanks. Well, me neither, for sure. I just knew I wanted to do something.
Well, and I want to add what you started with is all of you out there subscribing, tuning in, liking, and giving us that
Very
feedback.
much so.
You've given us a little bit of confidence to keep coming out here and to adding more and more and more.
Very
Because if
much
nobody
so.
tuned in and like, you're like, what if nobody watches, right?
Were you guys there? Did you see my screenshot of the message yesterday when I was like, my cousin reaches out to me and said, oh my God, I'm addicted. It's so funny, blah, 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 whatever. I go, it wasn't dumb. Like, did you like it?
That's imposter syndrome right there. See, that's what you had. And so how did you get over that?
I sent it to you guys. I said, look at this.
Okay,
oh my God.
so there's the evidence right there. It's the circle.
That is true.
Your circle lifts you up. If you don't have good people around you, go find them.
Yeah.
Go find new people. If you have people that are dragging you down and not lifting you up, get rid of them and go find new people.
I am walking away with that one. Go find new people. Go find new people.
You had to wait till the last minute to get the best nugget.
That was the best nugget. Go find new people.
Right?
Yep.
Like who you surround yourself matters. And if you don't have people who are lifting you up, and you know what, someone sent me here, I am rambling now. We're going a little over today. Oh, sorry guys. But someone sent me something the other day or had something posted and they said, a woman thing, like, do you find that women around you lift each other up or are they like talk behind your back and pull each other down? And I commented on their Facebook post and I said, it depends on your people. If you have the right people, they will lift you up. And I said, I know I have the right people around me because when I don't have it all in me, you guys lift me up. Mm-hmm. And when you sent that, we were there to lift you.
Yeah.
Like we lift each other up. And it doesn't just have to be women. Like, but we do that for the women in our circle. We don't pick each other apart or drag each other down. And I love that about us.
Me too.
So there you go. If you don't have the right people,
go
get
find
rid of
them.
Go find new ones.
Go find them.
Go find new people. And on that note, so
good nuggets.
I think there were great nuggets today.
Good nuggets today.
So we are super excited to bring you these conversations every single week. So make sure you subscribe and follow us. Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and now Apple too. Woo-hoo.
Hey, what are we doing next week? Are we having a guest speaker?
You know, it'll be a surprise. So don't miss an episode.
Next
week. Let's go do some epic shit.
It's coming.
You should do it too.
Yep, absolutely.
Peace out.